Bitcoin obviously having a very significant surge to the upside in yesterday's action. Remember, it's risk on. So the kicker here is always remember that when you see the stock market go up substantially, when people get excited, when people think about the printing presses at the Fed starting to go nuts again, what does that tell us? It tells us that people feel like there's more money coming and then risk assets go up. Bitcoin is right in that groove, right? So if the stock market's going up, if Nvidia's going up, probably Bitcoin's going to bounce.
In this video, Gareth will discuss the factors driving the significant surge in Bitcoin. Is it connected to the stock market's performance or Nvidia's rise? How might a pause in Bitcoin's movement potentially form a bullish flag pattern? How do the larger time frames in 2021 factor into Bitcoin's current scenario? Could higher inflation and the actions of the Fed cause Bitcoin to roll over with the stock market? Join Gareth in this interview as he delves into these topics and more. Before we continue with the rest of the video, do check out daily 5-minute crypto newsletter with all the latest crypto and Bitcoin news. It's a fantastic analysis of on-chain crypto data and breakdowns, and the best part is it's absolutely free. They'll cover expert predictions, breakdowns of on-chain crypto data, and any breaking news you need to know, all in a nutshell. Click the first link in the description and enter your email to join over 50,000 others in becoming a better crypto investor right now.
Bitcoin is right in that groove, right? So if the stock market's going up, if Nvidia's going up, probably Bitcoin's going to bounce. It had a big reversal candle here. Now, granted, this wasn't at a major low, so it doesn't have as much power as if this red candle was down here at like a major multi-month low, this would probably be a bottom. Now, it doesn't have quite the same factor to it, but it's still very impressive. Very solid move today, and we're out, I should say yesterday, and we're only basically pausing here. So you're just pausing today. If you can get a pause, believe it or not, you could go like this, and what does that start to create? Flag pattern, right? You look at that little flag pattern. So granted, I'm jumping the gun. I don't know if it's going to create that pattern. Maybe we reverse right back down, but this is, if we get a candle like today, I would start looking for that bullish pattern to maybe see this thing start to turn up, maybe retest 69, and then obviously that 73,000 level. Now, the negative would be is that you have to remember the bigger time frame. So we're talking literally about one candle yesterday and a few candles in the next few days potentially being bullish. But you still have to be aware that the weekly has yet to close above 69.2, which was 2021's highs. That's still a major factor for me. And you also have to watch the stock market, right? The risk on, risk off factors in this market. If all of a sudden we see higher inflation coming out, PCE, next CPI, all that stuff, and the Fed starts to be basically discounted that they can actually act, then you likely see Bitcoin roll over with the stock market. So there's just a bunch of different things we have to look for here as a technical trader to find out what the next move is. But I would basically put it in the camp right now, slightly positive bias based on yesterday's candle, but let's see what it does over the next couple days. Quickly looking at Ethereum here, guys. If we look at Ethereum, good bounce as well. Ethereum had a monster flush. I mean, think about this. Ethereum went from a $4,000 pierce all the way to basically $3,000 before that big bounce yesterday. I think I talked about this in some key things. If you look at right here, right, you had this low, you have this area here, and kind of right where we pierced in that zone. I actually thought it would go a little bit lower myself because there was this other major level here. Maybe it still gets there, but as of now, that's still a positive bounce on Ethereum.
The Black Rocket shares insights on the IBIT Bitcoin ETF, which now holds 239,000 to 252 Bitcoins, surpassing MicroStrategy's holdings. IBIT's rapid accumulation within 2 months underscores institutional interest in cryptocurrency. Meanwhile, MicroStrategy reaffirms its dedication to Bitcoin amid growing competition, announcing a debt offering to reinforce its reserves. Bitcoin and Ethereum lead this surge, boasting increases of approximately 12.5% and 16.5%, respectively. The Federal Open Market Committee's meeting on March 20th has heightened market optimism, outlining plans for 3 interest rate cuts in 2024 as a cautious approach. Coupled with a 0.94% drop in the US dollar index, this has sparked investor interest and propelled the crypto market upward. Institutions are increasingly drawn to cryptocurrencies, resulting in a surge in the market capitalization of top cryptocurrencies. Market value has rebounded to $2.49 trillion from a recent low of $2.20 trillion, marking a 133% rise. Despite recent market corrections, optimism surrounding Bitcoin's halving event persists. Observers compare the current price drop to past halving cycles and anticipate robust bullish rebounds. This market upswing has led to significant liquidations of short positions, totaling nearly $80 million in 24 hours. Bitcoin and Ethereum stand out in these liquidations, underscoring the risks for short sellers in a rising market.
All right, going to just a couple other charts, I want to look at gold. Gold is having a pretty impressive move. Look at this move yesterday on the Fed. All right, now you guys know I've been a big fan of gold. Again, I took my profits already on my swing trades. I still hold a hoard of gold on the longer term that I continue to hold. And again, so far, gold is having a monstrous year here, really competing with the S&P at this point and beating it. Not so much Bitcoin at this point, but we'll see obviously later in the year. Now, gold's down ticking a little bit here today, so we'll have to see, or just this is the 10-minute candle. We'll have to see where it goes. But I think the biggest thing to look at here is number one, we made on the daily chart new highs, although we are pulling back. And I want to put that trend line, that same trend line needs to go in here. So what I want to do here is put this one back, because this is one where I want to see where we close today. Do we close back below this line by end of day? It's coming back in, but this again still will be resistance until we confirm above it. Okay, so again, little things like this, very, very important to watch. Does it close above? Does it confirm? If it confirms, I was looking at a bigger time frame on this, and I want to just show you this real quick. If we go to our weekly chart on gold, and we go all the way back, in fact, let me go to the monthly. I want to go to the monthly here. So what I'm looking at here is if we look at the monthly, and we put the high in from the 1979 high all the way up to the 2000, what was that? The 2011 high, then your target zone now comes into view at a short-term major resistance, right? So again, if we look at this, this is the 1979 high, 2011 high, and if we look at this, you're looking at around 2350. That would be major resistance. So that could be, if we do confirm above this short-term level, that would be your next target zone of around 2350 before you should expect a solid pullback.
Financial giant Fidelity Investments has updated its application for a spot Ethereum exchange-traded fund to include staking capabilities. Fidelity disclosed that it may choose to stake a portion of the fund's assets to trusted staking providers. Meanwhile, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission has requested additional funds for fiscal year 2025 to enhance regulation of the rapidly expanding cryptocurrency sector. SEC Chair Gary Gensler emphasized the necessity for increased resources to oversee crypto markets effectively and address non-compliance issues.
Quickly going to silver here. Again, we'll just touch on silver as we come to conclude this. But again, take a look at this bigger pattern. This is going back to 2020. To me, this still looks like an inverse head and shoulders here. Hasn't really quite broken out yet, but it's borderline. Maybe it's starting to right here. But obviously, that would be very bullish. And even so, if you look at the bigger, so you have the shorter term inverse head and shoulders. But if we look at this, what type of pattern is this? Right? That's a bull flag as well. So even though silver is a little trickier to judge because of its industrial metal factor, you still have to say that overall the bigger time frames are very bullish on silver. All right, quickly going into oil here, guys. If we go to oil, we can see that oil is having its second small down day. Remember, we still have a breakout level here. Let me try to draw this in as best I can. So there we go. So you still could potentially pull back to this zone, but as long as you stay above it, you've confirmed above this level. You have to think at some point this turns up and goes to this $85 level per barrel on crude oil. And lastly, natural gas, guys, just touching base on natural gas here. Natural gas had a little pullback yesterday. If we look at this, one of the things I would just draw in here, it looks like we're making a little bit of a wedge pattern to me now. So if we draw a line here and we kind of draw a secondary line down like this, this is a nice little wedge pattern that's coming very much to a head in this area, right? I mean, you can only stay inside of here for very much longer. So let's watch to see which way this breaks. Does it break out or does it break down? If it breaks out, I think you get a very substantial move on natural gas. In general, if oil is going to go to 85, you would assume it would be to the upside, but let's watch and see.
For more daily dose crypto news, check out these two awesome videos on your screen. Click now and we will see you on the next video.